Gov, it's time for an album review. I decided to review Flick of the Switch by AC/DC after I just finished watching my friend Edwin Cannistraci's video of Fly on the Wall and Blow Up Your Video. And I swear, man, it's very rare for me to laugh out loud, but Edwin had me rolling on this video. And before I get into the Flick of the Switch, you know, I have a couple comments about his video. Number one, I agree that Playing with Girls is the best song off Fly on the Wall. I disagree on one thing. When you said, well, if you like Flick of the Switch, then you must love Fly on the Wall. I don't hear it, bro. I know you're saying it's similar, the songs are similar. I don't hear it. I saw Fly on the Wall. I remember the first time I even heard anything from Fly on the Wall. MTV, the world premiere video, was a song for Danger, which you liked. But then you also said, you know, it has a Prince element, so you can tell why I don't like it. But I was horrified watching that video going, what the hell am I watching? I will say, yeah, it's rare for AC/DC to do something somewhat different, which that song kind of is, but I was like, oh my God. And then when I bought the album, I didn't like it. And watching your video today made me go back and listen to Fly on the Wall from beginning to end. Didn't pause it, listened to the whole thing, and I still have the same opinion. You know, I love Sink the Pink, I love Shake Your Foundations, I love Playing with Girls, my favorite song off the album, and that's it. That is it. And by the way, the part where you were talking about First Blood, that was one of the parts where I was cracking up, really. You're just fucking hysterical on that video. But yeah, I can't agree with since I like Flick of the Switch, I gotta like Fly on the Wall. I don't see a similarity. I just don't. You do, and that's cool, bro. But I don't see it, and I don't like Fly on the Wall except for 3 songs. Where Blow Up Your Video, I like 4 songs off. I love Heat Seeker. That's the Way I Want My Rock and Roll. I love Nick of Time, and my favorite song off the album is This Is War. So, and you know, there's other songs on the album I don't mind. I feel like it's better than Fly on the Wall, where a lot of people would disagree with that, including you, Edwin. I got the impression, even though you praised Blow Up Your Video, that you like Fly on the Wall more. Alright, so Flick of the Switch, it's their 9th studio album, and the album was deemed a commercial disappointment after it failed to match the sale figures of the band's 2 previous releases, Back in Black and For Those About to Rock. And its release represents the beginning of the band's commercial decline, the 3rd AC/DC album to feature lead singer Brian Johnson, and the album is also the last to feature drummer Phil Rudd before his return on Ballbreaker in 1995. The album was re-released in 2003 as part of an AC/DC remastered series. So yeah, they returned to Compass Point Studios in the Bahamas to record the 9th album, and the same studio where they had recorded Back in Black with Mutt Lange. And Lange had produced AC/DC's 3 previous releases, but this time the band chose to produce themselves. On the recorded commentary on the album for the Live at Donington DVD, the band members state that the album was an attempt to make the band raw again, and we're happy with the results. It was something that, you know, I kind of like never noticed it till now when they say they wanted to make it more raw, where Mutt Lange brought some, you know, commercialism into AC/DC, especially on the last album, For Those About to Rock, with Let's Get It Up and songs like that, were kind of catchy and great. I love them, but they wanted to get more raw and, you know, and I met Brian Johnson one time at a red light. I've told this story before. We were both at a red light, and it was Brian Johnson. I couldn't believe it. I was like, Brian, and you know, he waved. And I said, you guys need to start playing songs off Flick of the Switch again. And he said, I'll tell the boys. And that was it. And then, you know, the green light, and we went our separate ways. But yeah, I briefly met Brian Johnson. And, yeah, as far as like, you know, I've said this a million times. I have never seen a bad AC/DC show. They were all great. But my favorite time seeing AC/DC with Brian Johnson, because my favorite time seeing AC/DC actually was with Axl Rose. But with Brian Johnson, the best show, and it was a very close to that Axl Rose show, was Flick of the Switch with Fastway opening. Whoa, what a show. And that show started with a guitar solo. Well, I'll get into that when we get into the songs, which I'm about to get into. And by the way, I know this is like a fan favorite. There's people out there that say it's the greatest AC/DC album with Brian and so on. And, you know, man, I respect anybody's opinion, except when anybody says that Brian Johnson's best album with AC/DC is an album that's not called Back in Black. I'm sorry. I know you just want to be that contrarian. You want to be that guy that, oh no, Back in Black sold a quadrillion albums. I can't like that more than Flick of the Switch or For Those About to Rock. I read right through you. You're bullshitting yourself. Back in Black is hands down the greatest AC/DC album with Brian Johnson. So get off my lawn. All right, so let's get into the songs, all right? Now, I remember when this album was new, a lot of my friends hated it. They were all slamming it. I'm like, man, are you guys listening to the same album I am? But I have a theory, because I was listening to this album today, and I think my theory is why people don't like this album. All right? This is why, in my opinion. The first song, Rising Power. It's kind of like the same old, like AC/DC, basically all their songs. Most of their songs, because they do have some different stuff here and there. But, you know, they use the same elements of other songs, and I don't really think this one really does hit the bullseye, and I really don't think it's a good opening track for the album. But I also will say it's not a bad song. It is my least favorite song on the album. But I don't think it's a bad song. I just think I've heard them do songs like this, but better before. Alright? So just by the opening track, I can see how some people will be turned off by it. Now the next song, Houses on Fire, I dig more than Rising Power. But it's kind of like this mid-tempo thing, where I can see if somebody puts on this album, the first two songs they're not into, and they dismiss the whole thing. But I don't mind House on Fire, and they did play it. This is one of the songs they did play when I saw them live. I don't remember them playing Rising Power. They might have, but I don't remember that. And I got a good memory when it comes to set lists. I got a bad memory for everything else. All right, next. Flick of the Switch. This should have opened this album. It's killer. Killer like riff, and Brian sounds amazing. And that's another thing about Brian Johnson, man. I think up to this point is Brian Johnson's greatest vocal performance. Back in Black, For Those About to Rock, and Flick of the Switch are Brian at his best, I think. After that, it wasn't bad for many, many years. I mean, I even think he sounds great on Power Up, their last album. I'm just saying, his voice is not as strong, though, as these first three AC/DC albums. And Flick of the Switch rules. Alright, next is Nervous Shakedown. Now this is like the first two songs, the mid-tempo stuff, and it has elements of other AC/DC songs, but this one shines. There's something about this, man, that it's mid-pace, has the same elements of other AC/DC songs, but still, it's catchy, it's killer, I love it. All right. Next song is my favorite song off the album, Landslide. Yes, I love the part where Brian goes, landslide. I don't know what the hell he's saying, but he says it real fast. It's just awesome. What a ripping track. It's, you know, fast, like beating around the bush and stuff like that. Fast-paced, kick-ass tune that they did not play live, which sucks, because it is my favorite song on here. I love Landslide. All right, next, Guns for Hire. Now, this is a song that they opened the show with when I saw them, but they open it with a guitar solo, which is weird for a show. Like, the show starts and there's Angus on top of the speakers, ripping, and then, you know, when they get into the song, he jumps off the speakers, which the speakers were pretty high. And, oh my God, I love this song. Now, this song, too, this or Flick of the Switch, could have been great openers for the album. It's a great opener for the show. But, yeah, Flick of the Switch, I think will be a little better, but Guns for Hire is an awesome opener, too. Love the song. All right, next, Deep in the Hole. Oh, this song rules. It's killer mid-pace. I love the riff. I love the chorus. This song is a dark horse. It's a dark horse too, man. It's one of the best songs on the album too. But, you know, never played live, was meant as a filler. I love this song. I think this song rips deep in. Love it. All right, next, Bedlam in Belgium. Rockin' tune. Chorus rules. It's a fun track. And yeah, there is truth behind this song. Like, there was Bedlam in Belgium with AC/DC, so they put it in a song. Great tune, man. I wouldn't skip it. All right, next, Badlands. This one, it starts off kind of bluesy, like that bluesy stuff I hate. But luckily, it took a different direction. It is a filler track, but it's killer filler. Badlands is awesome. All right, the last track, Brain Shake. Killer song, you know, to bring a close to this album. Like I said before, Brian Johnson's voice on Brain Shake, I think it's a little more special than all the songs on this album as far as vocal performance goes. But yeah, it's kind of fillerish, but again, killer filler, and I dig it. But there you go. That is my review of AC/DC's Flick of the Switch. And everybody check out Edwin Cannistraci. I'll put a link in the description below. I hope I remember that. If I don't, Edwin, remind me. And check out his video on this. And subscribe to his channel because he's got a bunch of great videos. He's got an AC/DC Rankorama video. He's got an AC/DC discography video where he talks about all the albums. Really interesting dude. Great dude, and he has a podcast called Rock All Over You Podcast with Eric RMCP Jordan. So thank you again. Thank you everybody watching now, and thank you Edwin for such a kick-ass video. It inspired this video I'm making now. So everybody, thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and ring that little notification bell. And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithm. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gob.